Hi, everybody. I'm going to go through and read Is Texting Killing the English Language with you? This is a Time Magazine article. And so I'm going to just start by looking at the title. Is this going to be interesting to me? Maybe. Let's see what kind of information is in this article. I know it's going to be about texting and how it affects the human language. Here we have a graphic, which we never want to ignore that. It says writing is just texting, except that you have to use all the letters in each word. All right, as I go along, I'm going to read each paragraph. You might find that I struggle with a few words. If I do, I might circle them or put a square around them. It says texting has been long bemoaned as the downfall of written words, penmanship for illiterates, as one critic called it, to which proper response is LOL. Texting properly isn't writing at all. It's actually more like to spoken language. Okay, you notice I replaced that word akin with like, and that's because it means like. And it's a spoken language that is getting richer and more complex by the year. First, some historical perspective. Writing was only invented about 5,500 years ago, when language probably traces back to at least 80,000 years. Thus, talking came first. Writing is just an artifice that came along later. As such, the first writing was based on the way people talk, with short sentences. However, while talk is largely subconscious and rapid, writing is deliberate and slow. Over time, writers took advantage of this and started crafting tapeworm sentences, such as this one from the decline and fall of the Roman Empire. The whole engagement lasted about 12 hours, till the gradual retreat of the Persians was changed into a disorderly flight, of which shameful example was given by the principal leaders and the Surenus himself. Now, I'm not positive if I said that word Surenus correctly, but you know what? It doesn't really matter. It's a pronoun. As long as I can recognize it, if it's repeated again, it doesn't really matter. But I'll put a box around it because it is a word I kind of struggled with. Okay, I'm going to flip over to the next part. No one talks like that casually, or should, but it is natural to desire to do so for special occasions, and that's what oratory is. Oratory, okay? Like the grand old kinds of speeches that William Jennings Bryan delivered in the old days, we didn't much write like talking because there was no mechanism to reproduce the speed of conversation, but talking and instant messaging do, and a revolution has begun. It involves the brute mechanics of writing. What does that mean? But in its economy, spontaneity, and even vulgarity, texting is actually a new kind of talking. There is a virtual cult of concision and little interest in capitalization or punctuation. The argument that texting is poor writing is analogous. Okay, I may need to look that word up. I'm not sure about it. And then to the one Rolling Stone is bad music because it doesn't use violas. I'm going to put a little question mark. This paragraph was kind of difficult. I definitely know I need to go back and read it again. Texting is developed in its own kind of grammar. Take LOL. It doesn't exactly mean laughing out loud in a literal sense anymore. LOL has evolved into something much more subtle and sophisticated, and is used even when nothing is remotely amusing. Jocelyn texts, "Where have you been?" And Annabelle texts back, "LOL, at the library, studying for 2 hours." LOL signals basic empathy between texters, easing tensions and creating a sense of equality. Instead of just having a literal meaning, it does something, conveying an attitude, just like the ed ending conveyed past tense rather than meaning anything. LOL, of all things, is grammar. Okay, so what does LOL mean to you? And it can mean a variety of things to different people because it has evolved. Of course, no one thinks about that consciously, but then most communication operates below the radar. Over time, the meaning of a word or an expression drifts. Meat used to mean any kind of food. Silly used to mean, believe it or not, blessed. Interesting. Civilization, then, is fine. People banging away on their smartphones are fluently using a code separate from the one they use in writing. There's no evidence that texting is ruining composition skills. Worldwide, people speak differently, and from the way they write, and texting, quick, casual, and only intended to be read once, is actually the way of talking with your fingers. All indications are that America's youth are doing quite well. Texting, thus far, has been a scourge. Scourge? Where? That's a weird word. Okay, I'm going to put a box around it. And it is a work in progress. Okay, now let's keep on looking here. Oh, we have a box. You know, we tend to ignore these, but these often are the most important. So I'm going to put asterisks. They'll hide answers in these easy graphics. Love it or hate it, texting is here to stay. A 2012 survey by the Pew Research Center found that about 75% of text teen and about 23% of text teens have smartphones. Now that was in 2012. I'd have to guess those numbers have really gone up. About 63% of teens text family and friends every day, which is far greater percentage than those who communicate daily by phone, email, or face-to-face conversation. Teens identified as heavy texters, or those who send more than 100 texts per day. And they are also more likely to talk on their cell phone daily. So, what do English teachers think about all the teen texting? Some have tried to turn it to their advantage by incorporating activities, such as having students translate library passages into text messages as a way of demonstrating comprehension. What do you think of that? So I just made that note for myself going forward. Do I understand this entire passage after reading it? I really don't. I'm going to have to go back and read it again. But before I do, I'm going to go ahead and preview the questions that they're wanting me to answer, and then I know I'm going to need to dig back into this text. Okay, so question number 39 says, in paragraph 6 and 7, the author makes generalizations to suggest that texting, that's a word I might need to look up, does not require skill, causes no harm, helps build relationships, and should be studied more. Also, I'm going to point out to myself that I need to go to paragraph 6 and 7. In fact, I can even flip over here and write 39 next to paragraph 6 and 7. I'm going to find it. So I know somewhere in here is the answer to question number 39. So I'm going to write that just to save myself a little time. Okay, I'm going to go back over here. Let's read the next question. In paragraph 3, the author presents a concept. In the next paragraph, the author shows how the concept is flawed, provides reasons, shows how similar the concept is, or provides an example. Okay, so I know paragraph 3 and 4 because it says in the next paragraph. That's paragraph 4. Those paragraphs are going to help me answer question 40. So I'm going to go over here. And type. I'm just going to type, or you can make notes on the star, or you can go ahead and just write it, whatever you prefer. Okay, let's go ahead and go to the next one. I'm not going to answer the questions yet. Okay, so I'm going to go to question number 41. According to the article, what happens to language over time? It doesn't tell me where to find that answer. All right, let's go to the next question. Notice I'm not answering the questions. I don't want to do that because I want to use text to help me answer them. If you see my hand, my cat scratched me, sorry. Which sentence best expresses the article's main idea? No one talks like that casually or should. Texting has long been bemoaned as the downfall of written word. Of course, no one thinks about it consciously. You know, this answer doesn't even make sense. I know that's not it. I'm marking it out. Texting, far from being a scourge, I need to look that word up, is a work in progress. All right, question number 43. What is the overall message of the boxed information about teen texting? Teachers are concerned about teen texting. Teens text a frequent basis. Teens prefer texting to other activities, and texting is interfering with face-to-face interactions among teens. Okay, so I looked on the back page. That's all the questions that I have to answer. Now I'm going to dig into the text and see if I can find any of them. So I know I had marked a couple of paragraphs with the number. So I'm going to go through here and reread these, and I'm going to try to answer question number 40. Got a couple of words that I need to look up. Brute mechanics. Wonder what that means. Oratory. Wonder what that means. What I might want to do is put out up here at the top, just make a little note. Okay, that's about oral words. Might want to look that one up. Brute mechanics. Well, mechanics is like the inner workings of something, and brute sounds really harsh. So maybe it's just a way of describing writing. Might be kind of inferring that writing is difficult. Texting is developing into its own kind of grammar. It talks about how the use of LOL and how that can vary. So I might put vary. The meaning might vary. All right, let's go back and see if we can answer question number 40 together. Question number 40 says, in paragraph 3, the author presents a concept. In the next paragraph, he shows how the concept is flawed, provides reasons why people are skeptical of the concept, shows how similar the concept is to other concepts. Nope, that's not it. Provides an example that supports the concept. Which one do you think it is? Does it show how the concept is flawed? Well, let's go back and look. What they're basically saying is, texting is actually a new kind of talking. There is a virtual cult of concision and little interest in capitalization or punctuation. Texting is poor writing. But then to the one of the Rolling Stone, bad music because I don't use balas. Okay, so they're basically what I'm getting from this, the gist is that texting is a new kind of talking. It says it involves the brute mechanics of writing, but it is a new kind of talking. It doesn't use grammar. All right, now the next paragraph, the one they're talking about, they go into talking about LOL. Are they giving an example of a new kind of talking where you're using letters or words in maybe a shorthand way? It even says it has a specific meaning. You uses past tense, and it said it is its own kind of grammar. So let's go back and look at the question choices again. Now you can see I'm going through this slowly. I'm not going through it quickly and just picking the answer I think it is. In paragraph 3, the author presents a concept. In the next paragraph, the author shows how the concept is flawed, provides reasons why people are skeptical of the concept. No, that's not it. Now we're down to 2 answers. Provides an example that supports the concept. These two answers are both close to being correct. All right, let's see what the concept is. The concept was that texting is a new kind of talking, right? We talked about that. It says, no one talks like that casually or should, but it is a natural desire to do so for special occasions. Texting and instant messaging do as a revolution has begun. It involves the brute mechanics of writing, but in its economy and even vulgarity, texting is a new kind of talking. There is a vultural cult of concision and little interest in capitalization or punctuation. Okay, so he is saying that it is a new kind of talking. The example he gives is LOL. Which answer best fits is he showing how it's flawed? I don't think so. Is he providing an example? I believe so. So I just gave you the answer to number 40. I'm going to go ahead and stop the video at this point, but I kind of helped you walk through some of the answer choices.